Is it working? Let me fill up my water real quick. Let me know if it's working right now because I'm trying this at 60 frames per second instead of 29.7 or 29.97. So real quick, I'm just going to fill up my water so I don't have to do it in the middle of the stream, and then we'll be right back. Just let me know in the comments real quick when I come back if this is working or not with this frame rate and if it's not buffering like crazy. All right. All right, AC, you got to be good, buddy. All right. Perfect. Beautiful, beautiful. How you guys doing today? This is right in my eyes. I don't want to be staring right into that light. That would suck. All right. So much crap, man. I got bridges everywhere. Got a roller bridge for the Bigsby Les Paul. So next time I do a setup on that, I'm going to install that. And then just another Tone Pros ABR1 that I just found. It's crazy the stuff you find lying around sometimes when you just have so many projects and so many things you work on. You kind of forget you have stuff. But, all right. So the first thing I want to address here is actually American Musical. Their website, people think it's hacked, which isn't good because I know they do payment plans. And I don't think it's hacked, but they said they were updating it on Tuesday, and it should have been up on Tuesday, but it's just never come back, and they have not made any sort of update or anything like that. So could be a potential disaster. I don't think it's anything to worry about, but who knows, man. A lot of websites get hacked, and a lot of people's credit card information, addresses, stuff like that gets kind of exposed. It's not the best situation, but here's to hoping for them because they're a pretty major distributor and seller of stuff. That's not the case. And speaking of online places that sell things, I have to give Reverb credit on one thing, and then I have to say I didn't like a new feature that when I logged in today. So I sold that Telecaster body, the seafoam green one that had the Duncan La Brea pickups in it, and the guy got it, and whoever handled it at the post office, it looks like it was thrown off of the van or whatever and then stomped on. Like, this thing was destroyed. We contacted Reverb. I contacted Reverb immediately because I used the safe shipping, and they said we'll be back to you within a day. Today we both got an email after we sent them the pictures, and they're just going to refund the whole thing. So I was like, well, that's good job. And then the other thing with Reverb, if you log into Reverb right now, regardless if you buy or you sell things, you will see a message indicator. You're going to click on that message indicator, and it's going to show you something called My Collection. Now, I guess in theory, you can kind of keep track of what your gear is worth in that. So anything you've ever bought is automatically going to populate in it, but you could add stuff too. And I don't like the idea of letting Reverb know every piece of gear I have. I don't know. That's just me. That's not something that I would necessarily be interested in. But I thought it was a very, very interesting kind of idea that they implemented on there. So if you guys have logged into Reverb, let me know what you think about that. I mean, it's not really the biggest deal in the world. I just saw it and I was like, I'm like, you really want to know everything, don't you, Internet? Things with the house are a lot better, Rowan. Things are a lot better. The cough for my child has gotten a lot better. The rabbit, we still don't know if it's really bad cancer or what's up with that, but her eye is messed up. I was tempted to take a video or a clip of it to post, but I mean, it's not something you want to see. So yeah, it's really sad. But she's a really old rabbit, and she's still kicking around right now. I'm giving her a bunch of medication and fun stuff like that. So hopefully that will improve as time goes by. Warning, the stream's current bitrate is lower than the recommended bitrate. Let me know if the stream is hopping around or not. If you guys say it's okay, I'm going to ignore these YouTube warnings. Yeah, exactly. Well, why would I want to just tell everybody what I have? I don't know. It's bad enough I do this on YouTube, so you everybody can see all the guitars I have here. That's bad enough, but I mean to make like an itemized list of all my gear and put it on the reverb so that I can check the value of it according to, the reverb trends. That's something I'm not very interested in. But I don't know. All right, cool. So if that's working, that's working. Let me just. Where would you guys like me to start today? I got a few things I'd like to talk about. But what would be something you would want me to start with? We were right on the Fender Player Plus leak, by the way. I hit that right on the head. And I hit that on the head, I think, like 2 months in advance. I don't know when I uploaded that video. Had to have been somewhere around there. But yeah, those guitars, they're $1,000 for Mexican guitars that have Mexican noiseless pickups. I think that they did that on purpose. They went out of their way to say that they're Player Series noiseless pickups, not regular Fender noiseless pickups. So I don't know where those are made, but 12-inch radius on all of them, the noiseless pickups on all of them, oval style neck. That's really modern. I mean, I get where they're going with this, but I don't. You're never gonna see me with one of those on this channel. I think they're super overpriced. You can get Japanese guitars that are infinitely better, and they're gonna hold their value better for that kind of money. That's just me. But I thought the jade green looks really good. That kind of candy apple Clapton style green. It's a nice looking guitar, but I don't know. I think we're getting to the point where the prices are really getting out of control. You are looking at what? If you want a classic vibe, between $450 and $500. If you want a made in Mexico guitar, the cheapest one, the Player Series, is now $800. And then, obviously all the way up to Ventera, some of those are like $1,250. And then higher than that, the artist models from Mexico, which still don't come with a hard case, they're $1,500. It's wild times. And it got me to thinking about Gibson, because Gibson, they have Epiphone, right? But they're made in China. They don't have a brand with the Gibson logo on it that's not made in America. So I decided I was going to do a little bit of homework, and I looked into Fender America's kind of entry-level stuff for their pricing versus Gibson's entry-level stuff for their pricing. And hell has frozen over because Gibson's outdoing Fender here. You can get a special, which will have either P90s or humbuckers made in America Gibson for $1,000. Or for $1,200, you can get one of the tributes. Same thing as far as humbucker and a P90 options. Decent guitars made in America and quality components all around in that aspect as far as what you would expect from an entry-level guitar. Whereas with Fender now, the cheapest American-made instrument you're going to get new, if you don't get a discount, is $1,300. And those are the Performers, which are really just glorified American specials. So nothing wrong with those guitars. I just feel like the way the prices are going, man, it's making less and less and less and less sense to buy new from these kinds of brands. James has it right on the head. I'd always be going for used in this kind of scenario. What do you guys think about that? I mean, what other American company offers guitars in that kind of price range for $1,000 for an American-made guitar outside of Gibson? Not sure. Hey, Rob, how you doing? Because obviously Fender doesn't. PRS doesn't either. What's the cheapest S2 PRS? See, now I've piqued my own interest. All right, let me just mute that just in case some noises start to come up here. But I wonder then, what is the cheapest PRS guitar that's made in America? Let's go to PRS S2. That's Sweetwater. Oh man, Sweetwater. I could get into that too. I found out some crazy stuff about them. Low to high. The cheapest PRS S2 is $1,400 now. Oof. So Gibson really, yeah, Harmonies are $1,000 too. Harmony guitars, some of them are. So I think really harmonies are 12, looking like 1,200 for the cheapest one of those. Yes, the Juno, the Harmony Juno is a $1,200 guitar. So Gibson is beating at, like, Gibson is offering the cheapest American-made guitar. That is wild to me. That's absolutely wild to me. Oof. Strange time. Very strange time. But while I'm thinking of Sweetwater, I used to have the best rep ever. His name was Dave Willem. He got promoted in the company, and I have a new rep. I'm not going to name him, but he's pretty bad. He's pretty bad. But I realized why he doesn't like me. And so when you're a Sweetwater rep, right, they always do the free returns, exchanges, stuff like that. Apparently, according to a Sweetwater employee themselves, if you buy something from them, right, and you return it for whatever reason, that comes out of the sales rep. He's the one that's paying for the shipping back. That is insane to me. So I had 2 Audient interfaces that I had to ship back. And I guess also if you put in a pre-order for something and you cancel it, technically that counts against their sales too. So that hits them as well. And also in my case, I had the pre-order in for the Quad Cortex, but I found they had a demo one come up while I was waiting. So I bought the demo one. And when the guy texted me to buy the Quad Cortex I had in pre-order because it was available, I was like, dude, like, you can look at my account. I already bought one from you guys. And he has not sent me a message or a call since, because that probably affected his actual wallet. So I don't like that about Sweetwater now that I kind of have heard that directly from a Sweetwater rep that they do that. I don't know. I get it. It's business. And I guess the way that they frame it to the employees, it's like, we're partners in this. And this is why you need to know your stuff and you need to make the right recommendations to the customer so that we don't have this scenario to begin with. But I don't know. That's a lot of money. And that could be a lot of money, potentially, if you have a customer that likes to return things. So I will say, if you are going to buy something from Sweetwater, make sure you really want it first, and only return it if there's something really wrong with it, because your sales rep's the one that's going to be paying those fees back, and that's going to come out of his wallet, and he doesn't deserve that. So that kind of sucks. So, and now that they have new kind of principal ownership and Chuck Chirac is no longer the CEO, who knows what else is going to change? I think it's going to become a lot more like Reverb in that sense. So, yeah, food for thought. I found that very interesting, though, when the Sweetwater rep said that. Warped bodies. Where are you seeing warped bodies? I'm seeing the Chinese PRSs. The necks are coming unglued on the hollow bodies. I've seen quite a few people say that. That's not inspiring. And I've also seen, because you guys know I'm doing my podcast now with Dave, and he was talking about Charvel guitars, and I've been kicking the can around because I don't have a 24 fret guitar anymore, and I want something relatively inexpensive for stuff like that. They're fun to play. And a lot of the roasted maple necks, people are having the frets pop out even when they're controlled in a safe humidity environment or left in their cases. The frets are the neck is actually shrinking, causing the frets to rise up. So that quality control, that's not very inspiring to me either. So I'm kind of turned off and cooled from looking at those. So if you're seeing warped bodies, I'm seeing roasted maple necks with fret issues and shrinkage, Seinfeld. And obviously I've heard about the PRSs, the Chinese made ones, where the necks are becoming unglued on the hollow body models. It's not a good look for a lot of people here, but yeah, I guess that's that time and age. So if there's any other stuff as far as, like, defects or quality control issues that you guys are aware of, let me know, because I think I'm going to make a video on that at some point next week, and I'm just trying to document each brand and what the specific problem is. And I'm looking for things that aren't just one-offs. I want things that are, several people have been saying that it's a problem with. And with the Charvels, I was very surprised to see how many people were saying that the necks were shrinking on those and the frets are coming out, specifically on the roasted maple neck versions of those Mexican-made DKT 24s. So if you do find any of that stuff, or you know of any of that stuff, let me know and I'll look into it, and we'll see next week in a video. Hey Raph, how's it going? Is the Parlor guitar made in China though, Rob? I thought the Parlor guitar was made in Indonesia. I might be wrong. But it would make more sense if it was Chinese actually, because I think they're $500. Yeah, quick production, more on dried wood. That leads me to, one of the topics of this video is I'm hunting. Two of the best guitars I've had in the last 3 years have been Memphis Gibsons, and ES 339 and the ES Les Paul. And I've been recently really, really kicking around the idea of finding a 335 from the Memphis factory, because obviously the Memphis factory doesn't exist anymore. They closed it. So there have been a few, and I'll load up. I'll show you guys kind of what I'm looking at here, because I'm always looking for stuff that's going to accrue value. Is that going to work? Is that going to work? Chrome, come on, you can do it. Okay. So, I'll make this screen big old. This is the first one we're looking at. Now, I love this Glacier Blue. I think this is a gorgeous, gorgeous top. I think the price is a little much, but that's such a rare guitar that it's one of those things I could deal with. Plus, I love that color, and it's a figured top ES 335. So that means it's the higher end of the non-custom shop models. Really nice, but I mean, $38.99, I think that's too much. I might give them a call and basically spell out, look, you're gonna lose over $300 to reverb, because that's a fact. So what would be the best deal you could do if I weren't to do that? However, this morning, I saw this yesterday. However, this morning, same guitar came up. Granted, I don't like this top as much, but this is local. This is much darker shade of it. So this guy is about 2.5 hours away from me. And if I did the same kind of speech with him here, and showed him how much money he's going to lose on a reverb, maybe I can get that guitar for just over $3,000. Now that is a lot more appropriate. Obviously, I don't think, when you look at the two of them, the fact that it's darker around here, around the edges of the body itself, and then the pickups, the pickguard and the pickup rings are black on this one, it really doesn't look as good. Look at how much cleaner that looks. That looks so much more natural and so much more fitting. Granted, those are things that can be fixed very, very cheaply. And the last ES 335 I'm looking at is this one. And it's a nice wood rose. But the cool thing about this is, this was a Sweetwater limited run. I had never seen that finish. It has the same back on it that my ES Les Paul has, which I love. I think it looks fantastic. And the kicker is the serial number, 025. That guitar has the same birthday as me. I don't believe in buying guitars from your birthday. I don't shop for guitars like that. I find it's very inefficient. And I find that if you are shopping for a guitar, specifically if you're a psychopath, and I consider you a psychopath because you're stacking the odds in your favor if you're going to do what I'm about to say. I know people that look for their exact year and birthday to have a guitar from that. The odds of you finding a guitar like that in a model you want, in a color you want, and then on top of that, the price being good, or the guitar just not being a piece of junk, Oof. That's that's a lot of boxes that got to get checked off there. So I know a lot of people that have done that and they found that guitar and they've ended up reselling it within a few months of having it because it's just I think it's too specific of a thing, you know. But that's just me. But I did find that very interesting with the Wood Rose that it did have. It was January 25th birthday, which is my birthday as well. Obviously, a lot younger than I am. I'm a much older man than 2018. But I thought it was interesting. So out of those ones, which one do you like? Obviously, I think the most expensive one's the best one, but that's a shop and I don't know. Just one of those things. All right, let's catch up with comments. I have not seen Jerry Riggs Everything. I should do that. Okay, what else? Yeah, they're very rare. I like the local one. I like how much cheaper I could get the local one because that was almost like $1,000. Because if I buy it from the place in Utah, even if I get them down and I buy it directly from them, I'm still gonna have to pay sales tax. So that's gonna be quite a chunk of change on a $3,500 guitar. That's not cheap. So this one I could just drive, maybe film a little road trip in the car, go pick this guy up, pick up cream pick guard and cream pickup covers, install that. That'd be pretty cool. Oh yeah, I always crack my fingers. I'm terrible. I'm terrible with that. So, hey Johnny, yeah, you're always fashionably late. It's better be late than level. The AS93s are sick. They're sick, and and like I said, the only reason I'm going for the Memphis ones right now, I think I'm ahead of the curve on this. Those ones are just gonna rocket in value because the newer hollow bodies from Gibson are not as good, and especially the Murphy Lab ones, there's having a lot of quality control issues, a lot of paint issues with those, and those are not cheap guitars. So we're looking at, I think, a Murphy Lab. Let's, you know what? Why guess? Why guess when we can go to the internet and we can look together. So Murphy Lab, yes, 335. All right, let's load back up the stream software here, and I will show you. Ta-da! All right, so for the Murphy Labs, $7,800, $5,800. So the cheapest you're getting out of here is $5,800, and that's for a regular old cherry finish. Nothing wrong with that, but I feel like when there's already going to be issues with them, and you're paying that kind of money, that's a tall order, my friends. That's a tall order. Whereas I can get something made in a factory, I know they do it right because I have two of them, and they're the two best Gibsons I've ever played. We're both from the Memphis factory. Get them in rare finishes, hold on to them, play them, keep them mint because they don't really leave the stands outside of me sitting and playing them. I'm not going to gig with these guitars, and they're good investments. I would rather do this than play in the stock market. Because guitars can be like stocks. They're not always like stocks, and a lot of people make this mistake. But when you're kind of in this price range, and especially because the Memphis factory is closed, they're never going to make another guitar there. I could see those flying up. Even that ES Les Paul that I bought, I got that for $2,000, and I could flip it now on Reverb. If I put it up for 35, it would sell. But I don't want to do that. They used to go for, I saw one sell for $1,500 without the Bigsby on it before the Great Guitar Boom. So who knows? And it's hard to project the market and things of that nature because everything's really volatile. So I'm not sure, but I know that I know that at the very least I'm not losing money. And I don't want my money just. I don't know. I'm weird. Like what happens if the dollar all of a sudden becomes worthless? What are you getting stuck with $10,000? I'd rather have that money in the guitars because at that point, whatever currency becomes the king currency, the guitar didn't lose any value. Just the value of the specific monetary issue from the country that I live in would have lost the value. So If you can't afford gold, you can't afford silver, you can't afford real estate, buy some really high-end guitars. All right. Yeah, I think the road trip might be the way to go. So I hit on the Player Plus. I talked about the Gibson Memphis. Yeah, and the thing about the Gibson, the Memphis Gibson too. I told you guys this story. I'm not going to tell you too much about the details of what just happened. I'll give you a brief overview. But I told you guys a while ago, in January, I bought 4 guitars one night from Japan all at once. The next day, I saw a 335 Memphis come up for sale locally for $1,500. And I didn't have the money. So I messaged a friend and I said, "You're an idiot if you don't buy this. This is too cheap." So he goes and buys it, and he's just nothing but complaints about the thing. He's a Telecaster guy. So he's not used to, problems and actually paying attention and taking care of things. Because you don't have to do that necessarily as much with the Telecaster. And he messaged me that he was thinking about selling it, and knowing damn well that I know what he paid for the thing. Because I'm the one that showed him, And he said, "Do you want to buy it?" And I said, I might be interested. And he offered me that guitar for double what he paid for it. And I said, whoa. I was like, that's pretty crazy. And this is somebody that when we moved, I told you guys this too, when we moved and the movers screwed us. And at the last second, we found out we weren't going to be able to keep any of our furniture or any of that stuff. I could have just thrown all that stuff away. And instead, I called the same person. And they took a couch, a record player, a really high-end record player, record stand, and like a $300, that red racing chair I used to have, the computer chair, because I have a bad back. And didn't ask for a penny. Nothing like that. And so when he offered me this guitar for double that, outside of that, yeah, he was my friend. He's not my friend anymore. When he offered, he wanted double the money. I was just like, you're not a very grateful friend. And that's not somebody that I want to associate with, because I look at it, I think it's a California and a New York thing, honestly, because where I'm from, we help each other out. And, we do stuff like what I did. And I'm no saint, but in the scenario I was in, especially with the furniture and stuff like that, like, I could have left it outside and the bum could have taken it. And at this point, I wish I did. But, I gave him all that stuff for free. I worked on all of his guitars for fractions, for pennies. And did, all of his pickup swaps, stuff like that, for half of what he would have paid. And in same-day service. And then this guy, just forgets all of that conveniently, and he wants to try and make $1,500 off of me, when without me, he wouldn't have had that guitar in the first place. So, really, I hate to say it, but my wife was right. And I guess the moral of the story here is, just if you can see somebody for what they are and they're not really helping you as a friend, and, they're not contributing anything to your happiness or anything like that, just cut them off. That's it. So, that's the end of that. So, let's go back here. I'm glad that you found Robbo's channel, Raph. That's good. Robbo makes really interesting stuff. I like how long form his is. His is like, he does kind of what I'm doing right now, except he posts it normally. I do it as a stream. Oh, the guy's a total asshole. And when I told my co-host Dave about it, he said he had some choice words that I'm not going to repeat here that were a lot worse than that. But yeah, he's an asshole. And obviously not somebody that you want to be your friend, because he clearly didn't value me as a friend whatsoever. No, and that's the weird thing. I'm normally the immediate judge of character. It's just in this specific instance, I had known this person for so long and I had worked with them years ago. And for whatever reason, I kept giving him chances. Nope. She was right. So, yeah. I'm sure she can hear me right now, and she's probably giggling about that, because why wouldn't she be? She loves being told that she was right. So, all right, what was the other thing? So, the quad Cortex. I want to get to this. So, I get a lot of comments. About this thing. People think I'm sponsored by Neural DSP. No. before we even dive into the context of this, guys, go look at how many subscribers I have, all right? Do you really think Neural DSP is going to sponsor somebody like me? Am I in a well-known band? Am I touring the country? Am I any of those things? I get 30,000 views a month. I am so low on the totem pole when it comes to being provided stuff. No, I'm not sponsored just to do this. I'm actually going to clip this and post this later tonight. See you, Raph. Take it easy. Thanks for stopping by. But my point is, this isn't just specific to YouTube. Whenever I make a comment about a positive with Neural DSP, whether it's on the forum or the Facebook group or on YouTube, people just assume I'm shilling or defending the company. No, man. I mean, I'm allowed to like certain aspects of the product. And if you heard when I was doing that podcast, especially the recent one, I had a lot of things I was mad about, and I'm still mad about. I'm pissed off that my Soldano plugin sounds better than the Soldano from the actual Quad Cortex, which is madness because the plugin's $120. The Quad Cortex, slightly more expensive, slightly. And I'm really upset that they still have not given us a time frame of when we can expect to use the plugins that we paid for with our Quad Cortex, because that was something that was promised at the beginning of all of this, and I think that sold a lot of us on it. However, with that being said, there are things about this thing I truly love, and I don't think I'm out of line here to say that I like them about it. I like how I can gig with this, and because I have a vocal going through it, my wife sings. Because I have a vocal going through it, the Axe effects can't do it. The FM9's not going to do what I need it to do. It's not something I'm interested in. It's simply not. Because I need to be able to do that. Now, if you really wanted to argue semantics here, I know my tech stuff. I could add a SPDIF mic preamp and then have that run into the Axe effects too. But no, at that point, I've really gotten a little too far here with the gear, because then I'm at way more than the Quad Cortex costs. And I have a much bulkier, heavier piece of gear that I don't want to take out. The Quad Cortex, it's easy, man. It just works for me. And I'm allowed to like a Quad Cortex. And other people are allowed to not like a Quad Cortex. And my main thing here is this. Let's bring it to guitars for a second. What's a guitar that I hate? That I make it well known that I hate? The Gibson SG, right? Now, do I spend my free time Googling or YouTube searching for SG guitars for people who say they love them or they like stuff about them, and then roasting them in the comments, telling them how bad they are and how a Les Paul is so much better, or a McCarty is so much better, or a Telecaster is so much better? No, I don't do that, because what the hell good does that do? And I see people in the Quad Cortex groups and the forums, all they will say, they're just there just to say negative stuff. They have no interest in buying the product. So why? What are you doing? Why are you watching videos? If you're so convinced that the Axe effects or the Kemper or the Helix, it doesn't matter what the hell it is the right solution, the Quad Cortex is a piece of junk, say that's what you think. You're entitled to that opinion. But then why are you going to YouTube looking for videos about the Quad Cortex and then continually shitting on it? Like, who are you helping? Who are you helping it at that point? Or does that make you feel better about it? I mean, I just don't see the value in, just even from a time perspective, in doing that. So that's pretty much all I wanted to say about that. I'm not pointing out a single person here. One guy this morning, I was already thinking about talking about that today on the stream, but he asked me if I was sponsored in the comment. He said I sounded like I was sponsored, and we had a long conversation via the YouTube comments, and at the end of it, he's just like, "Oh, you're definitely not sponsored for sure," because I was complaining about some of the stuff with Quad Cortex, and how it pisses me off, especially with the plugins. But I get it a lot. I get it on Instagram a lot. I get messages. There's just like, "How much are they paying you?" And I'm like, "What do you mean paying me? Like nobody's fucking paying me, guys. No, I am such a small fish in this sea. I'm not important. I'm not somebody that a company like that is going to be wanting to endorse, at least not now." So I just wanted to clear that up. Anyways. I heard there's supposed to be a huge update. Yeah, Doug says there's going to be a big update. We'll see. The last update they did was pretty good. I really like the shimmer reverb, and that's one of the effects I still use. I use the tremolo on the quad Cortex as far as effects go. I use the tremolo on that. I have a very specific tap delay that I use for one song, and I have that. Oh my God, my mind is just fried here for a second. The first thing I mentioned. Anyway, yeah, it's been a long day. But I have those three things, and then for my external effects, I use the Volante because it's a delay. I use a spring reverb on that, and it has the looper built into it. And then I use the Zelza, which is anything. Tremolo, that was the first effect. I use the Zelza because I get kind of an envelope filter, which is similar to a wah. I get a very coarse vibe. It's not full-on coarse, but very coarse vibe, and kind of also like a univibe. And then I go all the way, and I have that really cool Leslie speaker. So I don't use the quad Cortex for effects majority of the time. It's mostly for capture stuff and the amps. And the amps, anybody who says the amps on this thing don't sound good, man, I gotta disagree with you there. They sound great. That's just my personal opinion. Okay. But yeah, why waste your time? Why waste your time going to look up gear that you don't like? And just crap on it, man. It's just no good. All right, guys. So I think I hit on everything I wanted to hit on. Let me see here. We hit it early. I especially wanted to get straight to the point with this. I did want to see, though, now that there's more of you here, I will ask again, because I know Johnny didn't hear this. And Johnny's always shopping for guitars. He's like me. He's stupid. What do you think about Fender's cheapest American-made guitar being $1,300? I don't know. I've been in this for so long, and you can't compare it to 10 years ago. I know that, but American specials were $795, and it's not like they're significantly different, you know. And when I go to Dave's Guitar, I think even now, if it's still for sale, there was a mint American Standard for $800. Ooh, that's a cool guitar. I'll show you that. What'd you buy? See, I told you, Johnny's obsessed. He's a drug addict. He's a drug addict with guitars, just like I am. Now, granted, the guitar I'm going to show you is not something I would ever purchase. I'm not saying I endorse the price of it. The only reason I'm going to show it is because I've never seen it before, and I know how much the Mexican reissues of this guitar go for. So the custom shop, it's not the same kind of version, but it's after the same guy. $8,500 for a Joe Strummer. Oh, man. What do you guys think about these companies making... Oh, that's hilarious. That's hilarious. Okay. I want to point out two things here. This is a used price, $84.95. In Fender's description, not just for the collector. This guitar is built to take a beating and produce straight-ahead searing tone for anyone bold enough to wield it in combat on a stage. Really? 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 Who is playing an $8,000 guitar? Like who is doing that on stage? Who is buying a limited edition Joe Strummer guitar to play it on stage? That is not the working man. That's such bad marketing. Oh God, what are you guys doing? At least call it what it is. At least Gibson's honest. Like with the Jerry Cantrells, a $9,000 guitar, they told you like this is a limited edition. This is a collector's guitar. We're only making 100 of it. They didn't try to pitch you that this is a guitar that if you're bold enough, you could take it on stage. Oh, that really rubs it the wrong way. I don't like that. The balls on this company, man. The absolute balls. That's funny. You have to respect it. And just in case you guys are wondering, I think this is the best deal you're going to find for a budget guitar, period. And this is not a one-off price. There you go. $600 will get you a Zach Myers PRS whenever they come in stock. That's just their flat pricing. You will not find a better guitar for $600 that is basically in mint condition. You're just not going to do it. That is as good as you are going to get. I would even rather have that than one of the Player Pluses, and it wouldn't be close. Different models, but I'm just saying the value of this, unbelievably good. So if you're in the market for something like that, or you want a guitar that you could take and gig and have it be really reliable and not spend $1,000, check out Dave's Guitar Shop. They don't pay me. Again, I don't get paid by any of these people. One day. Maybe one day I'll get like a $25 gift card. But they're the best for a reason. $600, you get a guitar that great. Pretty cool. Let me go open up the chat again real quick. Take it easy, James. Play Farmer. I'd love to play Farmer. Yeah, my stage guitar, $8,000. I'm terrified to play with the ES339. I played that on the last gig I played. I bought the Gibson with me, and I was like having a panic attack in between because obviously, you play gigs, you get breaks, and this was a long set. We played for like 3 hours, so we had 2 separate breaks in between each hour. And I basically just I was either hovering over it or I was carrying it with me with a quad Cortex on my back. I must look like such a schmuck. But I'm so scared of my stuff getting damaged or stolen. But the thought of playing an $8,000 guitar live, dude, especially a Gibson, oof, so much can go wrong. So much can go wrong. And all it takes is one guy to accidentally bump it off of a stand, and you have just crushed the value of that instrument, and it will never play the same, as we talked about on the last Audiomo podcast. What do you guys think of that, by the way? Should we keep doing that? Do you think that's a good length? Because we try to do under an hour. But I had fun talking to Dave. Dave's a really smart guy, and he's somebody I really respect, and obviously he's my friend on top of that. But are you guys enjoying when I do those? Or is that something that I should maybe cut back to, maybe once a month or once every 2 weeks or something like that? Because we're on the page that we want to do it pretty much every week. So I'd like to hear back in live time from you guys what you think about those. Because it's not often, obviously, well, once a week I do a live stream. But it's not often I get to get your guys' direct and immediate feedback in regards to that. And also, second part of the question, I know Rowan already weighed in. Any ideas for a name? I mean, the Audiomo podcast works, but I don't know. Kind of bland. Needs something that sounds a little crazier than that. I hate when water goes down the wrong pipe. Then you need more water to fix yourself. All right, cool. It seems like a lot of people do like them. Well, outside of the people that hate the quad Cortex. People that hate the quad Cortex, they come in and they get pretty angry. The guy that I referenced who made the video about the audio mofos, that's actually not bad. About he was complaining that there's no market for him to sell his amp profiles, and I did not think it was a valid criticism, only because Neural DSP, that's not something they promised. They promised plugins, they promised effects, they promised all this stuff from the get-go, and they haven't delivered on that. And the guy actually reached out, and he wasn't the happiest that I mentioned what he did and how I didn't agree with it. But I mean, we had a nice email exchange and no actual drama, no anything like that. And I don't know, I don't want to cause fights with YouTubers. I think we're all entitled to our opinions, stuff like that. And that's the reason why I didn't mention who it was and I didn't link the video or do anything like that, because I would never want to have people, because I know how tribal people can be, and I would never want people going to somebody else's channel and spamming dislikes or spamming negative comments or stuff like that. That's not how I roll, man. I don't like that. But we handled it like men do and talked it out. I just thought it was good to do that. So that's a nice little after the fact kind of thing that you guys didn't know about that happened behind the scenes. All right, guys. Is there anything you want me to hit on, or are we going to get right into weighing something? Jason didn't want his strings, by the way. He wanted the strings and he didn't want them. I was surprised by that. Oh, I got a new guitar. In case you didn't see it. Oh, I'll show you. In the least surprising guitar choice ever. Fiesta Red. You got a Fiesta Red MG73. This is gorgeous, man. I filmed a demo for this last night. You guys have got to be getting so sick of me demoing Mustangs. I think that has to be the most demoed guitar on this channel. Is the Fender Mustang. Maybe 7, 8 videos with 8 different Mustangs that I've all demoed that have been for sale. I just think it's such a good representation of Fender Japan. And part of the reason I get these, obviously they sell quick, but the reason why these ones sell so quick is because Fender America, they missed the boat on this one. For Jazzmasters, for Jaguars, right? You had American Vintage 62 reissues. Those turned into American Vintage 65 reissues. Those turned into the American originals. Original 60s in the case of the Jaguar and the Jazzmaster. There's never been an American Vintage Mustang. So, if you want one that's rosewood, that has a lot of the vintage features on it, and is built well, you have to buy a Japanese one, or you have to buy vintage. And if you've looked at the market for vintage Mustangs, that's another guitar that has flown up. You used to be able to get those for under $1,500. Now, $3,500 for a decent shape one, L serial number. So guitars like this become a lot more desirable, especially when they're, basically mint. So this is a really fun guitar to play. Very different than my Mustang. Feels very different than my Mustang. The amber tint is a lot different, and just the kind of the gloss finish on it. But great guitar, great guitar. You'll see in the demo tomorrow. But yeah, so we got this guy in, and I don't have any other guitars on the way as of now. I gotta sell the other ones. And we still got the pink Strat, and the Edwards guitar. This guy, and I'm selling those really rare Bill Lawrence humbuckers. That's pretty much all I have for sale right now, though. All the Partscaster stuff sold. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. Let me put this guy back. You'll see it tomorrow. I know you like Fiesta Red. I like Fiesta Red on that guitar a lot. It's like a burnt orange. It's a very, very, very striking instrument. So, if there's nothing you guys wanted to add to this, or you want me to go over, we can weigh something if you want. But that's totally up to you. Not been a lot of interest in that. I can't give away free stuff. You guys don't want it. I don't know what the hell's wrong with you guys. But if you want, we can weigh something, and I'll send you a set of strings. If not, then, we'll wrap up the podcast, we'll wrap up the stream for the day, because what I have to do after this, I do this on every time I do a stream, because if you don't do it immediately, you'll get a comment like, where's the timestamps? In order for me to add timestamps into the description, I have to rewatch this stream, and then in one browser, and copy and paste the timestamps with the topic into the video and edit it in real time. So I basically have to sit here for another, how long is this so far? Like an hour? Yeah, I have to sit here for another hour and then timestamp it. And then I'm going to try and film. I want to do a video. I want to do another Strymon video. I want to do the Volante. But yeah, I will say this. This is the last thing I'll mention here. We were talking about sponsorships and stuff like that before. I've seen a lot of bigger YouTubers that have like 20,000, 25,000 followers get supplied things from Strymon and then have to send them back. And a lot of people in the comments, they'll say things like, "Oh, well, that's lame. You're doing them so much service here and they should let you keep the pedal, as a payment." And the guy doesn't complain. The one guy who I saw, he wasn't complaining about it. And to me, Strymon, I think, does it exactly right. And this is what I mean when I say that. So I make that Zelza video for the phaser, right? I don't get anything for that. I didn't get a discount on that. I didn't ask for anything like that. They did infinitely more for me than just sending me a pedal would have done. On their actual social media, they link my video multiple times. They link my video about how to set up the multi-switch with the Zelza multiple times. So what they're doing by showing me to their audience, because they have hundreds of thousands of people that check out their social media. So by them doing that to me is so much cooler as a YouTuber. To have a company that's willing to share and help the channel grow, because the more eyes, the better. And the more eyes that will see it, the more eyes eventually get drawn in and stuff like that, because that's how you really grow. And that's honestly, that's been the trickiest part about all of this, because I've had videos where I thought they were excellent and they have flopped. But I feel like if I had a wider net to reach people, I feel like they would have done better. So it's just, I'm really appreciative to Strymon for sharing my videos and stuff like that. So I really want to go out of my way for them to demo their stuff. And I'm not going to be biased about it. I mean, I love the Strymon stuff. In the case of Strymon, you really do get what you pay for. It's expensive, but it's expensive for damn good reason. It's all expertly engineered. It's all very solid. It's not going to break. And this is stuff that I've gigged with for over a decade. A lot of Strymon pedals. So I know what I'm getting. And it just sounds great. It's really hard to beat them. So I don't mind demoing their gear and sharing that with others, and then Strymon being thankful enough for that to share that with their followers too. So to me, that's like the ultimate win. Way too much money, Spike. Way too much money. $1,000 for a modern Mexican guitar with a 12-inch oval radius and player plus specific noiseless pickups. Nah, I'm good. I'll buy a used American Standard and laugh with the money in my pocket. All right. So if you guys want me to weigh something, I can't do the kick pedal because it's actually rigged in right now, and I'm using a second mic right next to it. I've been trying some new microphone techniques here. But if you want to do weighing, we can weigh something. If not, we will call it for today, because we're right at an hour anyways. And like I said, I got to rewatch all this and then timestamp it so I don't have people whining about it afterwards. I like getting it done immediately anyways. Then it's just like, you said it and you forget it. The podcast or the stream is done. I keep calling it a podcast. It's not a podcast. It's not a podcast. But, all right. Make sure this is all good. One last thing here. So if any of you have any last things, let me know. Or if you do want to weigh something, let me know what you want to weigh. We could weigh a bridge. That would actually be kind of funny. You guess the right weight of the bridge, and I'll send you a set of guitar strings. If these things weren't so damn expensive, I'd send you the bridge. They're like $60. Otherwise, no problem, Robbo. Yeah, that segment might just be done for. Nobody wants to play. Maybe when we grow and we have a lot more people watching it, we'll have a little more engagement with it. But, yeah, it was fun for a little bit. It was fun for a little bit. All right. All right, everybody. I could pick it up. So that'll give you an idea of the weight. Now, I'm not very strong. But sadly, the problem with the piano would be it would break the scale. It would break the scale. I actually played piano and my wife sung a song yesterday. It was really sweet. My kid was just dancing around in the room. My wife sang and I played piano. We don't do that very often. Because when this kid is in this room, something breaks. Every time. But yesterday, nothing broke. And we had a nice little family moment. So that was pretty cool. However, yeah, I think that's where we're going to be. We're going to end this. Thanks for checking us out, everybody. I love hanging out with you guys. And I'm sorry about last week, but obviously I was in a hotel room. So there was no way I was going to try and stream on hotel internet. But we will be back every Thursday, same time, same YouTube channel. And yeah, thanks for checking it out, you guys. I'll see you tomorrow for that demo of the Mustang. Take care.